So what I'm going to take you through now is a plyometric workout. Now, plyometric refers to jump training. Highland dancers, you are no stranger to jump training. Jumping is the culmination of all the power you have in your body. And power is strength plus speed. Equals power. There's your math equation for the day. Jumping is kind of like this elastic band, right? You've probably heard Dr. K scream at you to get off the ground. And let me tell you, the less time you're in the ground, the more power that you have to take you through an entire fling, to take you through an entire grand allegro, right? Anything that requires jumping, you don't want to be in the ground so much. You want to utilize your plie, but you don't want to stay in your plie. If I take a really long time to stretch this band out, what will happen? There was no power in that elastic band. It needs to be quick. That's how you get off the ground. That's how you have power to sustain you through movements. Plyometrics train you to dance like this instead of that. We see overuse a lot in dance, but I want to say that with plyometric exercises, the recommended level is 1 to 4 times a week, but only at 80 to 140 foot contacts. So what that means is 1 jump. If you're doing a 2-footed thing, that counts as a foot contact for each foot. But if you're only doing a single-legged thing, obviously that is a foot contact for that 1 foot. Beginners, we like to work under the 80 to 100 foot contacts range, 1 to 2 times a week. Intermediate, we like to keep it at 100 to 120 foot contacts, 1 to 3 times a week. And advanced, premier, we're looking at around 120 to 140 foot contacts, about 2 to 4 times a week. So with these exercises that I'm about to demonstrate for you, I would only do 20 foot contacts of each exercise. So what that means is that beginners only take 4 exercises. Intermediates maybe string together about 4 or 5. For advanced, 6 to 7 different exercises. I'll take you through what 20 foot contacts looks like within each exercise.
All right, let's get straight into the exercises. First up, we have toe taps. Essentially, you will be springing back and forth while tapping your toe to an object in front of you. Shown here is a soccer ball, but you can use whatever you have lying around the house. A laundry basket, a shoebox, anything that gives you an objective to tap. I like using a ball because its movement provides an element of agility. And because you are springing between 2 feet, 1 rep is considered a right and a left. Next, we have box pattern jumps and hops. Again, you can use visual aids like dots or chalk drawings, but here I have selected a crack in my driveway. And from that point, I jump forward, center, back, center, side, center, and then I repeat forward, center, so that I can do the box pattern again in the opposite direction. Shown first is what it looks like as jumps with 2 feet, and shown second is what it looks like as hops with 1 foot. I recommend doing 3 to 5 rounds of this exercise, either 3 to 5 rounds total as jumps, or 3 rounds on each leg when done as hops. Going around clockwise and then counterclockwise equals 1 round. Next up is an exercise in the same vein, but instead of hitting only the 4 cardinal directions, we also jump to our diagonals, or 4th intermediate positions, to make a star shape. From my starting cement crack, I jump or hop forward, center, diagonal, center, side, center, diagonal, center, backward, center, diagonal, center, side, center, diagonal, center, and repeat going the opposite direction. Because there are more foot contacts within 1 round of this exercise, I recommend doing only 2 rounds total as jumps, or 2 rounds on each leg as hops. The same considerations apply to this exercise as they did in the box pattern exercise. Keep core tight, keep hips square, keep movement small, and keep a parallel leg with the knees tracking over the toes. This next exercise we'll call bunny bounce to broad jump. I do 6 mini pogo-like bounces in place, and on the 7th bounce, I plant my heels and commence a broad jump forward for distance. My jumps look a little anticlimactic, but the small bunny bounces serve as a way to rev up your engine, giving you a more explosive start to your big jump. I recommend only doing this one 4 times. One key is coordination of the arms. When I plant my feet on the 7th bounce, I swing my arms back and then carry them forward with my feet during the actual jump. Now I will be demonstrating a lateral bound to a hop. I spring to the side from one foot to the other, I plant my landing foot, and I immediately go into a hop on that foot. This move really tests your stability and ability to stick your landing. No wobbles and no double bouncing here. It's spring, stick, hop, stick. Just as long as you're tracking those knees over your toes, keeping the hips as level as possible, and trying to power through your booty. I recommend doing this 5 to 10 times each way. You can also modify the lateral bound to hop exercise so that you're hopping over something. We have so many planks of wood lying around my house, so I laid 2 of those on the ground in front of me, sprang to the side, hopped over the first one, then sprang to the other side and hopped over the second one. And what you can do with one leg, you can certainly do with 2. So using the same pattern, you see I jump to the side, I jump over the plank, I jump to the other side, and I jump over the other plank. It kind of looks like a snow skiing training activity. You can do this 5 to 10 times on each side. Using the same plank of wood principle, I've developed some pas-de-pas drills that do not target the technique of pas-de-pas, but they do simulate the movement well enough so that you can establish stability and quickness in your facing changes. Although I'm using a baseboard or something like that, you can use yardsticks, practice swords if you have them, or just cracks in your floor. First is an open pas-de-pas drill, going down and back over the line. Then is a closed pas-de-pas drill, again moving forward and backward along the line. Then I've combined them in a closed, open, closed pas-de-pas pattern. But to start, I do a closed pas-de-pas to one side of the line, what would be square A. Then I turn towards the line, bringing my outside foot over the line into an open pas-de-pas, which would be square D. Then I bring my front foot back to the starting side, square A, springing onto it as in the first closed pas-de-pas. I spring to the other side of the line and repeat using the opposite leg. Throughout all these movements, I'm really focusing on pulling my belly button into my spine and moving and changing directions as one unit. As you can see, sometimes it's really hard for me to do. Now again, when I say pas-de-pas, keep in mind that I'm not really doing pas-de-pas. I'm executing an even beat movement, true, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, on the balls of my feet. I do not go into half point, and I'm doing them in parallel. Again, these are just drills and are in no way a replacement for the actual movement. All right, here we have sit, squat, switches, which kind of look like you're just playing leapfrog with yourself. Essentially, I squat, then I jump and complete a half-turn switch to face my seat, and then I jump over that seat. Here I have used an upside-down bucket, but I've done this drill with a medicine ball, a stool, or even just as air squats. The purpose of the seat is to encourage you to drive your energy down and back through your gluteus maximus and your heels. I know we almost never drive through our heels and stick out our bum in dance class, but this is that balancing out I mentioned earlier. You can probably keep your chest a little more upright than I did here, though. You want to make your half-turn switches sharp and quick and done to stick. No double bouncing. You want all the movements to be done in an athletic ready position, with the feet parallel, slightly wider than shoulder width apart, and your knees bent. And you want to pick a direction, such as upstage or downstage, to turn each time so that you're turning over both shoulders equally. I recommend 10 of these. And there you have it, some plyometric exercises to implement on non-Highland days to improve your jump, power, and agility efficiency.